You think if you just love her hard enough, she'll finally want you back. But that's exactly why she's pulling away. Let me say that again slower, because this is the part most men miss. Not because they're stupid, but because nobody ever told them the truth. You've been taught that more effort equals more attraction, that if you just show up more, text more, care more, sacrifice more, she'll see your value and choose you. That's the story you've been running. And it feels noble. It feels right. It feels like love. But here's what it's actually doing, it's making her less attracted to you by the day. This is not about games. This is not about manipulation. This is not about becoming cold or cruel or emotionally unavailable. This is about understanding something so fundamental about human psychology that once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And that thing is this: women don't chase effort. Women chase men who don't need to be chased. If this is the kind of truth you need to hear, not the comfortable version, not the version that makes you feel good in the moment, but the version that actually changes your life, then subscribe right now. Hit that button because this channel is not here to coddle you. It's why some men are naturally chased here, to give you the clarity that the people around you are too polite, too afraid, or too comfortable to give you. You don't need more people agreeing with you. You need someone who will tell you what's really happening. Stay here. This is that place. Now let's get into it. Here's what it really means when people say women chase men who have their life together, who have options, who are focused, who aren't clingy. It doesn't mean you need to be rich. It doesn't mean you need to be physically perfect. It doesn't mean you need to pretend you don't have feelings. It means something much deeper, much more primal, much more about who you actually are as a man than what you have or what you look like. And until you understand the real reason, the root cause reason, you're going to keep doing the wrong things and getting the same painful results. So let's build this from the ground up. The misconception first. You've been told directly or indirectly that a good man is a giving man, that love is demonstrated through availability, that if she matters to you, you should show her she matters constantly, consistently, loudly. Check in on her, make yourself available, rearrange your schedule, cancel plans, always pick up, always respond, always accommodate. That's what a devoted man does, right? That's what separates the good guys from the psychology behind female attraction, the guys who don't care. That's what you were told. And it's wrong. Not because caring is wrong, not because devotion is wrong, but because you've been confusing devotion with desperation. You've been confusing presence with neediness. You've been calling dependency love and calling anxiety effort. And the woman you're trying to attract. And even if she can't articulate it, even if she doesn't consciously know it, she feels the difference every single time. Here's the hard truth: when a man over pursues a woman, when he makes her his primary focus, when he centers his emotional well being around her response to him, he does not come across as loving. He comes across as unstable. He does not come across as devoted. He comes across as desperate. He does not signal safety and strength. He signals that he needs her validation in order to function. And that signal, that energy, is one of the most powerful attraction killers that exists in human psychology. That's called emotional dependency. And emotional dependency is not attractive to anyone, regardless of gender. But for women specifically, given how female psychology has been shaped over hundreds of thousands of years of evolutionary and social development, a man who needs constant emotional confirmation from her triggers something in her nervous system that says, this is not a safe harbor. This is someone I would have to carry. Confidence versus validation seeking. And the moment she feels she would have to carry you, she stops wanting to be with you. Not because she's cruel, not because she's playing games, but because carrying a grown man is exhausting. And somewhere deep in her biology, she knows it. This is not a character flaw in women. This is not evidence that women are selfish or hypocritical. This is just reality. And reality doesn't care about your feelings. Reality cares about what actually works. Now, let's talk about why this happens at the root level, because understanding the mechanism is what gives you actual power to change. A man who over pursues is operating from scarcity. He has consciously or unconsciously decided that this particular woman represents a rare, possibly unrepeatable opportunity for connection, validation, love, and value. She has become, in his mind, the answer, the solution, the thing that will make him whole. And because she occupies that position in his internal world, his behavior shifts entirely around the goal of keeping her. He monitors her mood. He interprets her text delays as signs of rejection. He softens his opinions to avoid conflict. He abandons his plans when she's available. He shrinks himself to fit whatever space she seems to be offering him that day. None of this is love. Let me be very direct about that. This is fear dressed up as love. It is the fear of loss masquerading as devotion. And why chasing often reduces attraction. Women can feel the difference between a man who loves them freely and a man who clings to them out of fear. One feels warm, the other feels suffocating. One feels like strength choosing to stay, the other feels like weakness unable to leave. The root cause is a man who has not built enough of a life, an identity, a mission, or an internal sense of worth that is independent of female. Validation. That is the root cause, not the texting strategy, not the attachment style label, not the childhood wound, as real and important as that might be. The root cause, in practical terms, is that you have made her your purpose instead of a part of your purpose. And that inversion, that single inversion, is what ruins everything. Now, let's talk about what this costs you, because maybe you know this already. Maybe somewhere in the back of your mind you've sensed it, but you keep doing it because stopping feels impossible. So let's get very clear about the price you are paying. It costs you her respect. The moment a man over pursues, a woman's respect for him begins to erode. It doesn't happen all at once, it's subtle. But one day she looks at him and she just doesn't see the man she thought she was looking at. She sees someone familiar, but somehow the power of emotional independence diminished. Someone she still has affection for, maybe, but not someone she looks up to, not someone who makes her feel safe, not someone who makes her feel like she is with a man who has his own gravity. It costs you your self respect. You know when you're behaving beneath your own standards. You know when you've sent too many messages. You know when you've apologized for something that wasn't your fault. You know when you've rearranged your whole week for someone who didn't even notice. And every time you do it, there is a small part of you that loses trust in yourself. That quiet voice that says, I wouldn't have done this a year ago. That's not a small cost. That's the slow erosion of your own foundation. It costs you your momentum. The man who is obsessively focused on a woman's emotional temperature is not building anything. He is not advancing his career, his finances, his health, his friendships, his purpose. He is standing still or worse, walking backward while spending enormous amounts of emotional energy on something he cannot control. You cannot control how she feels. You can only control who you are. And if all your energy is going toward trying to manage her feelings, none of it is going toward becoming the man whose presence naturally commands respect and attraction. It costs you time. And time, unlike money, unlike status, unlike social skills, time is the one resource that never comes back. The months you. How purpose increases your value spend, waiting for her to change her mind. The months you spend analyzing every conversation, the months you spend being available to someone who has shown you repeatedly that she is not choosing you. Those months are gone. That version of your life spent at your best, lived at full capacity. That is what you are trading for the possibility that she might one day reconsider. That is the cost, and it is enormous. So here is the reframe. The man women chase is not a mystery. He is not a fantasy. He is not some genetically gifted, financially elite, emotionally unavailable archetype that only exists in movies. He is a specific type of man, and the thing that defines him is not what he has. It is how he relates to himself. It is the fact that he has something, a life, a vision, a standard, a direction that exists completely independently of her. Let me describe him to you. Let me paint the picture precisely because I want you to see yourself in it. This man wakes up with a reason to be awake. He has things he is building. He has things he is working on, not to impress anyone, not to have something to talk about on dates, but because he has identified what matters to him and he is in motion toward it. His days have shape, his weeks have purpose. When something goes wrong and things go wrong for him, just like they go wrong for everyone, he processes it, adjusts, and continues. He does not collapse. He does not outsource the importance of self-respect emotional regulation to the nearest available woman. He feels the difficulty and moves through it. He has standards, real ones, not the performative kind where a man announces his standards loudly and then abandons them the moment an attractive woman gives him attention. Real standards, the kind that cost him something. He has ended conversations that disrespected him. He has walked away from situations that compromised his peace. He has said no to people he wanted to say yes to because yes would have required him to betray himself. And every time he upholds those standards, he becomes more solid, more real, more the kind of man that other people, men and women, both instinctively respect. He is present when he is with her fully, genuinely present. But he is not consumed by her. He does not disappear into her emotional world. He does not monitor her mood like it's a weather system that controls his day. He is interested in her. He listens deeply. He engages honestly, but he maintains himself. He maintains his perspective. He maintains his sense of humor, his opinions, his plans, his boundaries. He is with her, but he is not lost in her. And that distinction, that ability to be intimate without losing himself, is deeply powerfully attractive because it says to her nervous system, without a single word, I am someone. I am not a mirror. I am a man. He communicates clearly. When something bothers him, he says so calmly, directly, without drama, without passive aggression, without a long preamble of, I don't know if this why mystery and focus create curiosity is okay to say, but he says it. He means it. He doesn't need her to agree with him to feel secure. He doesn't need her approval to act. He is not unkind. He is not dismissive. But he speaks from a position of confidence, not from a position of wanting her to see him a certain way. And that clarity is attractive in a way that apology and appeasement never can be. He gives her space, not strategically, not because some dating coach told him scarcity creates attraction, though it does. He gives her space because he genuinely has other things going on. Because when she is not around, his life continues. His friends, his work, his goals, his rituals, they keep moving. She is not the organizing center of his existence. She is an important part of it, a valued part of it, but not the whole of it. And she can feel that. And it creates in her a specific feeling, a feeling that she is chosen, not needed, that he is with her because he wants to be, not because he has to be, not because he would fall apart without her. And being chosen, genuinely chosen by a man who has options and still selects you. That is one of the most compelling feelings a woman can experience. This man is not perfect. He has flaws, he has history, he has struggles, but he faces them from a posture of ownership rather than victimhood. He is not angry at the role of boundaries and attraction women. He is not bitter about the past. He is not performing toughness to hide insecurity. He is genuinely, substantively okay with himself and getting better. He is in process, but he is in process on his own terms, by his own standards, toward his own vision. That is the man. That is who she chases. Not because he's playing games, but because he has a life worth joining. Now, let's talk about what you actually do, because understanding this intellectually means nothing if it doesn't change your behavior. So, here is what has to shift practically starting now. Stop making her the center of your mental world. Every hour you spend thinking about what she meant by that text, what she's doing right now, why she hasn't responded, what you should say next, that is an hour your brain is not working for you. That is an hour you are not solving problems that actually belong to you. You do not get that hour back. Redirect. Every time the thought begins, ask yourself, what is one thing I could do right now that moves my actual life forward? Do that thing instead. Do it not to distract yourself. Do it because your life deserves your attention more than her ambiguity does. Stop shrinking your opinions to maintain her comfort. The man who agrees with everything she says is not a partner. He is a mirror. And mirrors are not attractive. They're just reflective surfaces. She doesn't need a reflection. She needs a counterpart. someone who pushes back sometimes, someone who has a different perspective and isn't afraid to offer it. This doesn't mean being contrarian or difficult. It means being real. If you disagree, say so calmly, confidently, without needing to win. The ability to what makes someone truly attractive hold your position under social pressure is one of the most fundamental signals of masculine confidence. Train it. Stop over communicating your feelings when she's pulling back. This is the trap most men fall into. She goes quiet, she becomes distant, and your instinct is to bridge the gap with more communication, more checking in, more "are you okay?" More declarations of how much she means to you. And every time you do that, you confirm her distance. You prove that her withdrawal has power over you. You validate the idea that you cannot hold yourself together without her engagement. Instead, hold still. Let the silence be, not as a strategy, but as evidence that you are not at the mercy of her emotional availability. Let your stability speak. It speaks louder than any text you could send. Stop canceling your life for her schedule, your commitments, your gym, your work, your plans with people you value. Those commitments are not obstacles to your relationship. They are the infrastructure of the man she is attracted to. When you cancel them to be available for her on short notice, you don't look devoted. You look like someone who has nothing better to do. Honor your commitments. Let her fit into your life. Not because you want to play hard to get, but because your life is real and it matters and you are not willing to dissolve it for anyone. Build something. I don't care what it is, a business, a body, a skill, a craft, a project, a community. Build something that is yours, something that exists because you decided it would exist and you put your time and energy into making it real. Because the man who is building something is fundamentally different to be around than the man who is waiting. The man who is building has forward momentum. He has a reason to be focused. He has something to talk about that isn't emotional processing or relationship anxiety. He is going somewhere. And a woman who is worth your time will feel that trajectory, and she, personal growth and self improvement, will want to be part of it. Not because you recruited her, but because forward momentum is magnetic. Start holding your boundaries as if they are non negotiable, because they should be. A boundary is not a test, it is not a threat. It is not a manipulation tactic. A boundary is a statement of what you will and will not accept in your life. And a man who enforces his boundaries consistently, who is kind but clear, who is flexible where flexibility is appropriate but firm where it is not. That man becomes someone people take seriously. Become that man, not because it will make her chase you, but because you owe it to yourself to live according to your own values rather than in reaction to other people's choices. And finally, stop waiting for her to decide your worth. This is the deepest one, the habit that underlies all the other habits, the belief that your value as a man is something she determines, that if she chooses you, you are valuable, that if she doesn't, you are lacking something. That verdict is not hers to give. It never was. Your worth is not located in her opinion of you. It is not found in her response time or her enthusiasm or her willingness to commit. Your worth is located in who you actually are, what you actually do, and what you stand for when no one is watching. Anchor yourself there and watch how everything else shifts. Here is what I want you to understand at the deepest level. As we come to the end of this, you are not broken. You are not too emotional, too sensitive, too much, or not enough. You are a man who was given a set of instructions that did not work. Instructions that told you love means self eraser. That vulnerability means losing yourself in someone else's approval. That the way to be loved is to the mindset shift that changes. Everything make yourself indispensable through over effort and constant availability. And those instructions failed you. They were never accurate, and following them has cost you real things: her respect, your self respect, your time, your momentum. But here is the thing about instructions that don't work: you can get new ones. You can rewrite the operating manual. You can decide right now, today, in this moment, that the version of you who outsourced his self worth to a woman's opinion is not the final version, that there is a man inside you who has a life he's proud of, standards he keeps, direction he's moving in, and presence that is undeniable. That man is not far away. He is not some future version that requires years of therapy and a perfect set of circumstances. He is one decision away. The decision to stop running your life around her validation and start running it toward your own vision. That is not a loss of love. That is the beginning of it. The real kind, the kind built on two complete people choosing each other freely, not two incomplete people clinging to each other out of fear and need. You are the answer not to her, to yourself. And when you become the answer to yourself, when you are genuinely, substantively okay without her, that is exactly when you become the man that women cannot stop thinking about. Not because you played a game, but because you finally became real. If this hit you. Final advice: become the man worth chasing. Somewhere you needed to be hit, subscribe. Not for me, for future you. The man who is going to need this kind of clarity again in 3 weeks when things get complicated and the old habits start pulling. This channel exists to give you the truth before the damage is done, to remind you who you are before you forget in the middle of your feelings. There is more coming on confidence, on purpose, on how to build a life that doesn't need to be rescued by a relationship. And you are going to need it. We are building something here, a space for men who are done being confused, who are done running the wrong playbook, who are ready to do the real work, not to get a woman, but to become a man. Join that. Be part of that. Because the best men don't walk this road alone. They walk it together, clear eyed, moving forward, becoming something worth becoming. Let's go.